Gen V is a good show. It's not, I was going to say it's not as bad as The Boys, but it is fairly graphic. So yeah, it's probably just as bad as The Boys. But it's a really good show. I personally don't mind a show with a lot of violence in it. I mean, the world's a violent world. So I kind of dig that. And this show is bringing it. A lot of the things that I thought was going to happen with Cypher are revealed. That tattered, burnt body is, in fact, Godolkin, Dr. Godolkin, who is the modern maestro of V. He's the modern guy. And it turns out that Cypher, I thought that Cypher might have been a soup that was being used by Godolkin. Turns out that he was like a bum, just some random bum on the street that Godolkin, and controlled and has been finger puppeting for so long, which makes sense because when Polarity was slapping himself, Godolkin said previously, why are you holding your hand out? He said that to Mary, why are you holding your hand out? There's nothing here. It's all in your mind. You don't need to hold your hand out. He said that to her. But when he was controlling Cypher, he raised his hand to control Cypher's hand, and he moved it. Which to me meant that someone else, Godolkin, was controlling Cypher from the other side of the city. And in his mind, he was in Cypher's mind, telling him, make him, slap him. And he was controlling Cypher to control Polaris, just so Polaris could see Cypher moving. But honestly, he was controlling Cypher without moving himself. So he didn't need to do that. That was just a show for Polarity, who eventually threw him out the window, and they explained how he did that. His mental ability could control the synapses in your mind, and it can disrupt his power. And Marie fixes him, which is another thing that you could kind of foreshadow. It was foreshadowing. She has the ability to not only control the blood in her own body, but she's a bloodbender. She can control the blood in other people's body. Then it morphed into being able to control people's body. Then it morphed into her being able to control every aspect of your body. Even if your cells are dying, she can and zap them and bring them back to life. Man, her sister had died. I'm not 100% sure her sister was dead. She had her throat cut and she was dying. She may have simply passed out, and she fixed the wound and brought her conscious. But they're suggesting that she actually returned her from the dead and made her normal again. So she must have reached in her mind, clicked it back on, reached in her body, repaired that, reached through her, grabbed her soul, and snuck it back into her body. It takes a lot more than just wiggling your fingers to bring somebody from the dead back. But I mean, it's a comic book show, so you got to kind of suspend belief. Maybe that's all she needed to do was wiggle her fingers. So she has that power now, so she can heal a body, at least a soup body, because the only body she's healed so far have been soups. Her sister, and then Cypher, and then Polarity, and then Cypher. So Godolkin. So she can do that. So if she wanted to, she could fix every broken soup. And she could probably break every unbroken soup. She could probably yank the V right out of your body and turn you into just a regular dude or just a regular woman. She could probably click and turn the V off. She could probably, turn your brain off. She can definitely stop Homelander, maybe. Because Homelander, they say in the first season that they used every weapon known to man and nothing stopped him. Think about this. The gas that they've been using on these soups that apparently has been working on every single soup that they've used it on did not work on Soldier Boy, and they gave it to him for years. And even when they threw it at him, and Frenchie's like, "This will work, I am sure it will work." And Frenchie and them made the gas, and they threw it. He just and didn't mind it at all. It didn't mean nothing to him. They had been using it on him for years. It didn't work. He's the father, technically, of Soldier Boy, of Homelander. So it probably wouldn't work on him either. So with that in mind, things that work on regular soups probably would not work on Homelander. Probably. He was pretty sure that he couldn't get his head popped. You know, when Victoria was like face to face with him, he said, "Go ahead, try to pop my head." He has been invincible and invulnerable and unstoppable for so long that he's sure no other soup's power could work against him. He's positive of that. And he's an adult now. And they've been torturing and trying to kill him almost since he was an infant. The entirety of his life, 30, 40 years, they've been trying their whatever they could think of, and nothing has worked. Nothing has actually even really killed him. When Queen Maeve stabbed him in the ear with a pen, so he just kind of looked at her and pulled it out of his ear. He was bleeding a little, but he just kind of looked at her like, "Come on, man, just stop." That was the look he gave her. So it was a minor inconvenience when at that time, what was considered, well, previously what was considered to be the second most powerful soup stabbed him, trying to kill him, and it was a minor inconvenience. So it's going to be tough for them to kill Homelander. But they're saying that Marie can or will be able to. I think that if she uses her power to try to control him, he may be strong enough to walk right through that. She's going to control his blood, and he and his blood will continue to move towards her. If she tried to do that, if she tried to lift him up off of the ground, that might not work either, because she did it before with a soup that can't fly. I mean, who knows what will happen if she tries that with Homelander. I'm curious, because eventually they're building up to a confrontation that will probably happen in the next season of The Boys. It's not going to happen now, because they're going to I'm sure they're going to make another season of Gen V. And if she tries to fight Homelander in a one-on-one, he's going to dead that girl. He's going to use his heat vision and split her into two pieces. But she might be able to lose her power on herself and put herself back together. Who knows? Who knows? Actually, Godolkin should be able to beat Homelander, because he can control anybody. If he can control Homelander, he can just tell him, fly as high as you can and just keep going. If you can make it into space, go into space. If you can't, just fly as high as you can and stay there. I don't think they can suffocate him, so I'm not exactly sure how they would kill Homelander. Yank your own head off. I don't know what they would do. What command could you give him to kill himself if he's unkillable? How could you make Wolverine kill himself? Stab himself in the brain. Eventually his brain's going to heal. Cut your head off. That probably would do it for Wolverine. But, I mean, Homelander? I don't know if he could remove his own head. There's a thing that people used to say, is God so strong he could make a rock so heavy that he couldn't lift it? Yes. Until he tried to lift it, and then he would lift it. Could Homelander be so strong that he could yank his own head off? Maybe. Maybe not. I mean, I don't know. He's the most powerful guy there that, like they said, that has ever walked the earth. But Marie is probably going to be, according to them, the most powerful entity that ever walked the earth. But I was thinking when I saw it, when this episode started, that Sister Sage is in the background moving all of the pieces around for her own personal reasons, for whatever they may be. Maybe to have a counterweight for Homelander, because she put him in position, and she said she was doing that just to see if she could. So he's there. He's you know, God Emperor Homelander. He's controlling the U.S. She just wanted to see if she could do it. And now she's making a suit more powerful than him that can take him off the board. She just wanted to see. And she saw. So I think this is all Sage. I think Sage is controlling what's happening in the boys. And I think she's also controlling what's happening in Gen V. She made a king, and she's at the same time making a king destroyer. And she's partnering with Godolkin, who I also think she is controlling. She has probably made some type of device or chip or whatever to nullify his ability to control her. Smartest person on the planet. She had to have thought about it. I'm just sitting here talking to you, and I thought about it. No, she thought about it. The dude controls people. And she just basically set him free on the world. So she's got to have a counterpart to that. And I think Marie is her counterweight to Homelander. Homelander was her way to do a few things. They're done. Now she's got to get him off the board. So I think she ultimately is the thing that's going to get rid of Homelander. She may use Godolkin. She may use Marie. She may use a combination of Marie, Godolkin, and Marie's sister, who is, they call her a precog. And that's all Tom Cruise movie-esque type thing. But I think she's just, she's someone who gets bits and pieces of the future. When she was saying, he's almost here now, and they were in that alley last episode, and, dude bust through walls, like I thought it was going to be harder to find you guys. When that happened, that took me back to Xavier talking to Scott when he freed all of the kids, and he's like, no, we got to turn this way, go this way. And they all turned and they ran, and he ended up going to Xavier out there with his CGI face, and he brought him on a helicopter, took him back to I think that reminded me of that. It reminded me of that part. But this episode is really good. I think that they need to give back the powers to Kate. Kate's pretty powerful. She touches someone and then she can control their mind. She instantly can get into their brain by physical contact. So I think she's kind of like Rogue, because she usually wears the gloves. She takes them off and touches people to activate her power. Sam is kind of like the Incredible Hulk. He's got rage issues. He gets from place to place jumping. They said in this episode he jumps from place to place faster than a car could move. And the car was breaking the speed. And the car was doing like 80, 85 miles an hour. And they said that Sam could jump faster than that. Sam also tells this guy that can fly that he can jump faster than the guy can fly. And it's an actual debate. So I'm thinking he's like the Hulk. Super strong, almost invulnerable and unstoppable. He has rage problems, and he transports himself from place to place by jumping. He's the Hulk. You know what? I think I'm going to go through all of these guys and name their Marvel DC counterparts. At least in my opinion, who their counterparts are. Anyway, this was a great episode, and I will give Gen V, so far, this season, second season, 8 bags of popcorn. 8 bags of popcorn. Almost 9. It probably would have been 9, but a lot of the stuff is pretty big foreshadowing. You can kind of tell where they're going. But definitely an 8. Almost an 8.5. Man. 8 bags of popcorn. Because that's what I think about that. More importantly, what do you think about that? Now that you've seen the video, let's talk about it some more in the comments. And as always, if you like the video, if you like the content, subscribe. And then like.